Welcome to Inspire Change, a new inspirational and motivational broadcast that strives to empower men in a positive way. The entire series will consist of only 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes, as they are designed to educate, empower, and inspire even the busiest individual on the go over that first cup of coffee. Please join me in welcoming Gunter, international psychologist, author, speaker, and producer.
Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, I want to talk about essentially empathy and how to develop and nurture it further. One of the things that I talk about in Making Good Men Great is that patriarchy, in fact, tends to make most men gravitate towards being more narcissistic than empathic. That means that in order to be competitive, we actually need to disregard what our opponent or perceived opponent may feel. So that directly interferes with our capacity to have healthy and intimate relationships. The other issue that is a legacy from patriarchy is that it stops us from feeling for ourselves. We learn how to disregard our emotional state. In other words, our emotional awareness is reduced. So if we're going to look at reducing issues of abuse and violence in our culture, we really need to change our perspective on, firstly, ourselves and what is important and meaningful to us, but also how that operates in relationships. So in my work with boys and men, one of the things that I'm often confronted with is that our emotional awareness is often quite low. So I'll give you a good example. Most of you who are parents of teenage boys will probably have had the experience when your teenager comes home from school and you go, "So, how was school?" And the response you get, if you're lucky, is binary. It's either good or bad. There's very little nuance expressed in that. And I get the same thing with adult men. Frequently, they will express their emotions in rather binary terms without really thinking about what else is going on. So, we relate to anger often as being bad. We relate to being sad as bad. And that becomes our platform. The problem with that is that it's then difficult to communicate effectively on an emotional level. And we get frustrated when other people often do that because it takes us time to tune in to what it is that we're really feeling. So emotional awareness is one component of actually beginning to establish a really good foundation for being empathic. The other aspect of being empathic is the capacity to regulate our feelings. So when we're in a situation that's confronting, we can sit back and not be as impacted, not be as reactive to what is going on between me and the other person. So that becomes a very, very important aspect in dealing constructively with conflict. So in order to do that, how can we then start practicing a greater degree of empathy? Now, there's been quite a lot of research around that. Roman Kazanik, I hope I pronounced that right, is the author of Empathy, Why It Matters and How to Get It. He talks about 6 habits of highly empathic people. Now, the first habit is to cultivate curiosity about strangers. The second habit is challenge prejudices and discover commonalities. In the third habit, we're looking at trying out another person's life. In habit 4, it's about listening hard and opening up. Habit 5, inspire mass action and some social change. Now that takes courage, and we might leave that for another episode. The other part to it is to develop an ambitious imagination, or what I call an aspirational vision. Now, the challenge to any of you viewers who want to practice this is that my suggestion is to look up, and there's an article on the internet, and to try out each habit for 30 days and see what happens in your response and in your relationship with yourself and what happens in your relationship with others. Now, don't just confine this to adults. This is a really good exercise to do with children and particularly teens. Until next time, about making good men great, we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Gunter, and thank you to our listeners in our first super short broadcast series, Inspired Change with Gunter Swoboda. Please join us every Wednesday for a new broadcast by visiting www.spreaker.com/show/inspire-change, which will feature all the ways you can listen. If you have comments or suggestions, email producer@studio3hollywood.net. Thank you and have an inspiring day.